A very good morning to our expert speaker, Nanda ma'am, and to my all dear students and faculties. Today we have all gathered for this online platform for a webinar series. You have missed the last webinar session. So I welcome you, Nanda ma'am, in this webinar series. And before starting this webinar, I one small request for all the students that if you have any queries or any question, please send it in the chat box. And while the session, please mute your speakers so that no disturbances while the webinar. So I welcome you, ma'am, and I request Nanda ma'am to start the session.
Sure, I'll do that. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to reconnect with all of you. This is the second session. We are repeating this session because last time we understood that most of you couldn't attend the last session. So we are conducting this, and people who could not attend this session, the recording of this also will be available. So Professor More and Ma'am Ekta Ma'am will be sharing that recording with you later. All right. So how many of you had attended the last session? Just raise your hand. How many of you were there in the last session as well? Okay. And okay, so we have few repeaters. I mean, people who have attended it last time. That's great. And the reason you guys are attending it again, maybe you are really interested in cybersecurity career, and I really appreciate your time. But looks like we have lots of people who are attending this session first time, right? So I mean, let's keep it interactive. Whatever questions you guys have, put it in the chat box, and I'll just walk you through the material which I have prepared for you guys. But we are going to leverage the classroom stream for all your queries. So even after the session, if you have any questions or if you need some help related to the learning material and all, we can post those links in the classroom live stream. Okay, so make sure that all of you are registered over there. And if you know any of your friends who are interested in cybersecurity career, let them also join the classroom. Okay. All right. So let's start. This is the first session. I just wanted to introduce a little bit about me. I'm just a student of Batu, just like you guys. I passed out in 2000 in computer engineering. And after that, I did my PG diploma. And almost 2 decades, I have been working into software development, product management, and it's been more than 6 years. I'm into cybersecurity product development. Right now, I'm leading a cybersecurity firm called DigiSec 360, where we help organizations to implement cybersecurity practices and help them in security control implementation and others. So, I mean, that's, it's pretty, I mean, I have started working from application layer till drivers, also middleware and even firmware for memory devices. So but being a computer engineer, I'm more into coding, software development and product management. And security is just one part, which, I mean, it is sector agnostic, it is applicable in everywhere, whether you are a developer or you are a electronics engineer or mechanical engineer. Cybersecurity is applicable to every sector. So I mean, this is the situation. I just wanted to highlight why cybersecurity is so important for us. Okay, so since we started, I mean, when I was a student like you in Batu, that was just the opening. I mean, just the beginning of internet era. And we just had some DOS machines with floppy disk. That's how we used to, and we had very basic internet. But in the last 2 decades, internet has exploded with multiple devices, right? As of now, if you look at internet connected devices, 2021, on an average, every person on earth has around 5 devices connected to internet. That means one person is using 5 digital devices, and these devices can be your laptop, your mobile phones, your smartwatch. It can be any of your smart speaker. So the number of internet connected devices have increased so much that it is overshooting the population of the earth. And internet technology comes with a side effect of cyber security, or cyber criminal cyber frauds are increasing a lot. because every device or every software that you use has some vulnerabilities which are being exploited by the criminals, and that's where the cybersecurity is becoming very, very important. So if you see, like we have this COVID-19 pandemic, so cyber epidemic has been spreading since last 10 years. I mean, it is exploding like anything. Every day, more than $16.4 billion are lost to cyber crimes worldwide. Like the scale of cyber crimes is so huge that every digital citizen like you and me, or anyone else in the world who is using internet, is affected by it, either directly or indirectly. Okay, so I mean, if you use any software or any digital device, it comes with thousands of new vulnerabilities every month. Okay, and 90% of the attacks are happening because of lack of awareness. We are not even aware, like, whatever we are doing or whatever password we are setting or this application we are using in our phone, whether it is 100% secure or not, and we keep on giving our personal data to malicious hackers, and we become victim of cyber crimes. So 70% of the businesses in worldwide, they have been encountered cyber threat in last year, 2020. So after COVID-19, most of the companies had no other option but to go digital, right? And work on internet. Like, you take an example of your college. Earlier you used to attend all your classes in physical classrooms, right? Now all of you, your faculty members, professors, everybody has to start using digital platforms, right? For learning, for teaching. And because of that, the number of users have increased, number of the technology that we use, whether you are using any Zoom platform or Google Meet or any other platform, it is a software, and it is meant to have some software vulnerabilities in it, which are being exploited by cyber criminals to hack them. So 70% of the organizations are, because the digital technology has increased, these 70% of the organizations have become victims of cyber crimes because of COVID-19 digital evolution, or digital evolution due to COVID-19 pandemic. All right. So it's very, very simple thing. All I wanted to tell you that as the number of internet users increases and the digital technology evolves, the side effect of it is cybercrime. So as per World Economic Forum in 2019, cybercrime was one of the third global risk after global warming. Second was this pandemic, and third is cyber crimes. So it is being taken very seriously by all the nations, all the worldwide leaders, as well as you and me as a digital citizen. We should understand that cybersecurity plays very important role in our lives. So we have to practice safe cyber hygiene, as well as we can make career out of it. And in this session, I'm going to give you some basic guidelines how we can go about it. All right. So let's go. I mean, every day you open the newspaper and you will see some of the cyber security news. Some of the other cyber security news. Yesterday it was Air India hack. 45 lakh Indian citizens' data is in the hands of the cyber criminals now, right? And I hope you must have heard about this in the news yesterday. It is I mean, whenever such cyber attacks happen, they happen at very large scale, and millions of people's personal data goes in the wrong hands of the criminals, and then they exploit it. So last year, since the COVID-19 started and everybody started working from home, learning from home, and connecting each other over the digital media, lots of cyber attacks started. Like first was the ransomware. Cognizant was hit by Maze ransomware. Then lots of banks in India, financial organization, they are also like in the verge of cyber disaster. Last year, as per the Cyber Security Coordinator of India, we have a national cyber coordinator. As per them, every day 375 cyber attacks were committed by against the Indian companies, or Indian organizations. So India is hit by 375 cyber attacks every day. And these cyber attacks can be a college, educational institute, or it can be a government department, it can be a private company, it can be a small business, it can be anything, and this has become so, this problem has become worldwide, not just in India, but worldwide. And that's the reason we have to gear up to fight against these cyber crimes and, make our nation cyber safe. All right. So lots of problems. Even the cyber frauds are increasing. People like common people like you and me falling victim to OTP frauds, or this OLX frauds, job frauds are increasing. These are all considered as cyber crimes, or these are all considered as cyber frauds. So nobody is spared. Like everybody is either already been victim of cybercrime or will be in future. So all we have to just safeguard our digital data and follow some basic cyber security, and we have to make sure that the technology that we use, applications or the devices that we use, are safe and they have the basic cybersecurity controls in place. So that's how we can fight or we can mitigate some of the cyber threats. But it's a long way to go. Okay, so let's understand what is cybersecurity. Okay, so cybersecurity is a practice of protecting networks, systems, hardware, and data, your electronic data, from digital attacks. Okay, and digital attacks can happen over the internet. Basically, security is the protection of information against unauthorized disclosure, transfer, modification, or destruction, whether accidental or intentional. So basically, data protection or electronic data protection and device protection is nothing but cybersecurity. And there are lots of aspects of cybersecurity. It also includes safety, encryption of data. Then it also includes privacy. Privacy is another aspect of data security. But it's a very, very wide field. Cybersecurity is very wide field. And the application of cybersecurity is in almost all the sectors which are using digital technology. Okay, so we will talk about which are those sectors in the subsequent slides. All right. So I mean, just a dictionary definition of cyber attack. Cyber attack is an attempt by hackers to damage or destroy a computer network or system. Okay, so it's basically any malicious attempt to steal the data or damage the data or network is called cyber attack. And there are two aspects of hacking. Everybody knows the word hacking, right? Hacking is basically trying to break the system or trying to steal the data or hack the system. That is hacking. There are two aspects of hacking. One is the ethical hacking and one is the criminal hacking. I mean, ethical is basically where you become a cybersecurity defender, and you being ethical hacker help the companies or the organizations to secure their data. But how will you do that? By understanding the hacking methodology, right? Or how the hackers think. You have to bring that hacking mindset to secure the organization data or to safeguard the digital devices. Okay, so that the ethical hacker is a very, very common term nowadays. So any security experts who are into protection of the data, they are called ethical hackers. Okay, and there are multiple aspects of ethical hackers. Some of them are application pen testers, some of them are auditors, some of them are like, forensic investigators. So the hacking principle or hacking mindset you can apply to all the cybersecurity career lines. I'll talk about the career aspects in the future slides, but just keep these two terms in mind. And if you have any questions so far. Yeah, so no questions. So we'll just move to the next one. Okay, so why we joined the cybersecurity sector? So there are many reasons to consider career in cyber information security. Like first one is working for the greater good. If you want to defend our country, digital India, from cyber attacks, there are lots of state-sponsored attacks happening. Our enemies, neighbor countries, they are trying to hack Indian infrastructure or Indian organizations. So if you want to really defend digital India and help the companies from cyber crimes or cyber attacks, then you will work for a greater good. So that is one aspect of career in cybersecurity. Second thing is like lots of attacks are happening, right? Major corporates and theft of people's credit card data, personal data. So the volume of attacks or volume of cyber crimes are so high, there is a huge demand for cybersecurity experts. Okay, so just because there is a high demand for cybersecurity experts, there is lots of job vacancies. That is another reason to build a career in security. Okay, then the threat landscape is constantly changing. Today it is your laptops which are getting hacked. Tomorrow it can be your Android phones or iPhones, or it can be your IoT devices. So the threat landscape keeps changing. Today you are focusing only on website security. Tomorrow it will be anything else, your healthcare or SCADA systems, if it is automated industrial automation, anything can be attacked. So the landscape is constantly changing. So you get to know new things every day. Okay, the new hacking techniques are also changing. So there is a constant new learning and new skill development in the cybersecurity field. Okay, so that is another good reason for you to build a career in cybersecurity. Then, because the demand is high for cybersecurity experts, the salaries are also very good, as compared to the other traditional IT careers like coding or development, right? So if you are a cybersecurity expert with some global certification and you're really good at it, you have the merit, then you will be paid to the best of the industry, because there is a high demand and most of the companies are looking for people who are skilled in this area. The salaries and compensation is really good. Okay, and there is nothing dull or repetitive. So if you are a C programmer or Java programmer, you will be doing coding all the time, right? Except the applications will change, and that makes it interesting. But in cybersecurity, every day new threats, new learning, new tools, new technology. So there is always something new, and so there is nothing repetitive about job in cybersecurity. So for me, I'm a cybersecurity company. I'm working for a company. So every customer has different cybersecurity challenges, and they have different technology. So it helps me to learn and help them to prevent cyber attacks along with those companies. So it's a new learning for me every day. So same thing, if you join this sector, you will get to learn lots of new things, and nothing is repetitive. So that is another aspect. So I think I have given you very good reasons why to join this sector. But let's see, like if you are really interested in this career opportunity, then how to go about it. If you look at the statistics, there are 93% of the tech companies in worldwide, they are looking for cybersecurity experts. There is a huge skill gap. Okay, so there is a growing need for cybersecurity and other skills, because each and every company which is using digital technology is affected by cyber attacks, or it will be, and they have to prevent it by hiring more and more skilled people in cybersecurity area. So the core roles in cybersecurity career are like security consulting. That is what we do in my company. So as part of security consulting, you advise the organizations on security strategy, which security products they should be using, and doing the risk assessment for their digital infrastructure, their endpoints, and telling them which network security firewall they should be using, or which security products are suitable for their size of organization or their businesses. So that is security consulting, is one of the core area. Second thing is engineering, cyber engineering or security engineering. So here you develop products, create some products and tools to safeguard the IT systems. So you can become a firewall developer, or you can develop some password authentication or identity management software, or some application for securing your mobile phones, or your antivirus, or anything. So when you develop some software or IT system, that becomes the engineering job. Okay. Then the third core area in this cybersecurity is OPSEC. We call it as operational security. Okay. So in operational security, basically it talks about making sure that your computers or servers in your organization are if they have any signs of attack, monitoring them, making sure that the logs doesn't show any threats or any anomalies or any abnormal IP traffic, all those things, analyzing the security breaches when they occurred, and then strengthening the system against such breaches. So OPSEC is all about safeguarding, or applying the firewalls or IDS or IPS, and making sure that you constantly monitor. I don't know whether you know this. SOC SOC is another way of OPSEC, Security Operations Center. So most of the companies, they safeguard their data. They save their data in big data centers. So if you go to Navi Mumbai side, you will see lots of companies having their data centers, and those are managed data centers. So people who are working there are kind of OPSEC. They make sure that those servers are safeguarded. They are constantly monitored for malicious traffic or unwanted attacks. So that is OPSEC. Then the operational roles basically range widely based on sector. There are frontline defenders who protect data and networks from unauthorized access. Then there are penetration testers who explore the systems to expose security weakness in your website or your phone applications or any other software. Then there are forensic investigators, like you can help the law enforcement agencies like cybercrime police, or in fact, even in army to do forensic investigator and break the cybercrime. I mean, find out who is the cyber criminal, who was behind this attack, So lots of opportunities and there are various roles and different things. It's a very crowded sector. I mean, because there are lots of opportunities in each and every area. So don't get confused. Just go as per your interest. Okay. So interest and the passion about, or you should understand your strengths first. If you think that you are a good penetration tester, then you can join application testing, application security field. If you think like you like detective or you like police work, then you can become a forensic investigator. So these are the career paths. I just wanted to show it to you. Application security, you can become, you can secure the web application or mobile applications which people use most of the time. Let's say any healthcare application or e-commerce application, right? Which is there on your phone, or you can also access them using website. So if you want to build a career in application security, then you can do the basic cyber CH, certified ethical hacker, and then do the OSCP or penetration testing related career path you can take up. If you are a mechanical or electrical engineer, or in fact even chemical, right, you can go for infrastructure security, where you can safeguard the network or SCADA systems, or cloud, SCADA, or even oil and gas fields. So there in these sectors also there are lots of opportunity in infrastructure security. If you are an electrical engineer, then power grid is a very core infrastructure and backbone of the country, right? I mean, if there is a shutdown of the power grid, the entire, nobody will be able to work, right? I mean, all the industries, all the companies will be standstill. So power grid security is also very important, and it falls under infrastructure security. And industrial automation security is SCADA security, that also falls under infrastructure security. So if you are a mechanical engineer or civil engineer, you can think about building a career in SCADA security. Then security monitoring, it's like OPSEC, I told you, like OPSEC, where you monitor the malicious traffic as well as the server logs and other things. They are called SOC analyst. So if you are an IT engineer who understands installation, operations of the servers, then you can go be a SOC analyst. Then if you really like puzzles and encryption, then you can build a career in cryptography. It's all about data encryption. One way of safeguarding data is encrypting it. So there are various encryption algorithms, and if you are really good at cryptography, then you can become a data encryption engineer and help big companies to encrypt their data and safeguard it. Then the other field is cyber forensic, which is very, very, much demanding nowadays, because as I told you, number of cyber crimes are increasing. And especially in India, law enforcement agencies are struggling to keep up with the cyber crime or technology the criminals are using. So if you take a course in cyber forensic, then you can help cybercrime police to investigate the cyber crimes. And there is much demand. Most of the big colleges in India, they also offer masters in cyber forensic. So after your engineering, you can do masters and then help become a cybercrime investigator. Okay. The other, if you don't like coding and if you don't like technology, then you can you become an auditor, cybersecurity auditor. There is another field of cybersecurity is called compliance. So there are various cybersecurity standards in the world which are being followed by different sectors. Like healthcare follows HIPAA. Then financial, like RBI has, Rebit has a different framework, RBI financial security framework. Then you must be aware of ISO 27001, which is another security standard. And NIST is another cybersecurity framework. So if you become an auditor, you can make sure that the companies follow these frameworks and make sure that they have all these controls as per the security standards, like they have proper policies and guidelines in place, and they have all the security controls followed by the organization and the employees. So that is the job of cybersecurity auditors. And for this auditor also, there are various global certifications offered by ISACA. Like you can become a CISA or CISM. There are many opportunities for auditors as well. And apart from cybersecurity, there is also another branch or another aspect of security is called data privacy. So data privacy is also very much demanding. Now, as earlier in India, nobody was bothered if your data is stolen, right? Yesterday, Air India hack happened, and most of our people who have traveled by Air India, their data had gone. But it actually, earlier nobody was bothered because we didn't have data privacy as a, what you can say, it was not there in our Constitution of India, So privacy was not a right. But now, because of a new PDP bill, which is there upcoming in the parliament, privacy is a basic right of every individual. Okay, so if you are a digital citizen, if you are using any technology, if you are installing any app, that app collects your data about you, your phone number, your physical location, all those things. And that data is very, very important, because if that is hacked, cyber criminals can have some, cyber phishing attempt against you. So data privacy is becoming very important because people are becoming more and more conscious about their data. And for that, we have GDPR and HIPAA as some of the standards. And so if you don't like security, you can actually have a career in data privacy also. So data privacy is separate career path, and there are various global certifications available for privacy as well. So you can become a data privacy officer in big organizations who is dealing with consumer data, like our Aadhaar, right? Government Aadhaar program. So they have a data privacy officer who safeguards the data and makes sure that all the controls of security as well as privacy are managed by the organization. Data privacy officers are there in worldwide, especially in Europe. Most of the universities also now have started hiring data privacy officer. So if there is any breach, right, then these officers, they play a very important role, and make sure that there is a proper breach notification and safeguarding, and proper legal compliance is followed in terms of privacy. Okay. So these are various paths. I just could put whatever is that I could put on the slide, but I will also share some of the other resources, how to build your career path in one aspect or one sector, or if you want to become a data encryption or SOC analyst, what needs to be done. I'll share some of the links after this session, but these are the high level areas. So let's go to the next one. Yeah, so these are the roles. You can become a security specialist, incident responder. So if there is any incident happening in any organization, then this responder know what are the legal and cybersecurity control related aspects to be managed, and then you can become a security administrator, like you can safeguard servers, PCs by installing various security softwares and making sure that they are working well. You can also become a vulnerability assessor. So if you like security testing of software, then you can try to assess the vulnerabilities in the, it's also called security testing. And this is again part of penetration testing as well. You can become a cryptographer, security manager. I mean, there are lots of things. If you want to build a security product or any infrastructure product, then you can become a security architect, in which you can help the companies in defining their network architecture and apply the security controls. So there are lots of things. Chief InfoSec officer is another role, which most of the companies nowadays they are hiring for, and any person having 10 plus years of experience in cybersecurity, they can go for, they will be the chief InfoSec officer of the company. So that is another role where the hiring is very much in demand. Then you can become a security analyst, auditor, I already told you about that, forensic expert, and there are lots of things, like, so you can pick up the area which you think works well for you. Like if you like hacking, then you can become a penetration tester. If you like developing some security product, if you are good at coding, then you can become a security architecture or a security analyst, or engineer, security engineer. If you like breaking the crime or investigating the crime, then go for forensic analyst role. So based on your interest, you can apply your security mindset in each sector, whichever sector you are interested in. So there are plenty of opportunities, lots of permutations and combinations, cross-field and cross-sector combinations you can do. And almost all of them have lots of vacancies in worldwide, So there is huge skill gap. So you pick up anything of your interest and you will be successful in that area, But all you need is 100% effort and learning, and never give up attitude. Because sometimes it becomes very difficult. The job is, if you are a CISO, the job is very stressful because every day there is something new threat, new attacks, But if you really enjoy the challenges, then go for it. It's like that. Okay. Then this is how the career path looks like for a student, like if you are a IT student or mechanical engineers or even a computer engineer, you should start with the entry-level positions like security administrator or network administrator. So you can do the relevant certification related to you. If you really enjoy network and if your network fundamentals are really good, go for network administrator. You can do Cisco CCNA certification or CompTIA Network Plus certification. And you being a student, you should know how to install the operating system or how to install the softwares, and how to configure the firewall. These are the basic things which will help you to safeguard the systems. So these are the entry-level positions. Then once you are graduated, once you are looking for a job, then you can go for any certification which is related to either you can become a security analyst or consultant or engineer. Consultant comes after years of experience, but you can definitely become an engineer where you help the companies develop some product. Or if you are if you really want to become a penetration testing, then you can go for cybersecurity analyst position. Okay, so these are like the second level of security positions, which requires 3 to 5 years of experience. And after 6 to 7 years of experience, then you can look for management position, So you can become a CISO or security manager or product manager, security director. Most of these actually comes after decades of experience in security. But this field, lots of demand in this area, okay? There are like thousands of people, thousands of jobs available in cybersecurity analyst or consultant. This is very high demand area. But you can reach out to this only when you finish this, So you should have a strong networking fundamentals. You should understand how the basic application works, how the phone works, how the operating system works, So once you understand the basics of IT and administrator, it will be easy for you to jump to the next level. Okay. So, this is what the engineers do, right? Being an engineer, you have to be all the time curious how the product is designed or how the operating system works, how the network works. And it is already covered as part of your syllabus also. That's about it. The next thing I will tell you, like, just give you some tips about how to, if you are really interested, then how to go about building the foundations or how to start building your skills, So the basic is networking. You should know all the 7 layers of networking, switching protocols, firewall, IDS, IPS. These are the basic terms. You should know how they work. Then make sure that you have the basics of system administrator, like how to install Active Directory, how the Linux installation works, Windows, different operating systems, what are the difference in security configuration of different types of Windows server as well as Windows 10 desktop, So you should know these things. And then go for the programming. I'm sure most of you, as part of your curriculum, has some programming as part of your syllabus. But become a master of at least one scripting language. It can be Python, it can be Java. So if you are very well versed with C programming, that is best. then you can become a security engineer and help in developing the security program. Whether you are a penetration tester or security analyst, the basic scripting knowledge is must have. So make sure that you know the basics of programming and understand how VPN works, VPS works, proxy, DNS. These are very basic terms and keywords. If you know these things, that means the foundation is clear. Like the foundations have been laid, and then you go for fundamentals of mobile application. You being an engineering student, you can develop your own website, or you can develop your own mobile application. It can be a simple game application also, but you should know how to design and develop it, or like what it takes, or which technologies are being used currently to develop these applications. So once you know how it is developed, then it becomes easy for you to hack them or crack them, that they say that, to break the things, you should know how to make the things first, right? So if you know how to make the web application and a mobile application, then it will be easy for you to break them, right? So or hack them. So make sure that these are the basic skills which are required, you being an undergraduate, whether you are a second year student or third year students or final year. These are the basic things you must know before you jump into cybersecurity. Okay. Then the next thing is which are the references or resources that you can go through. So there are lots of InfoSec resources available. Lots of websites which talks about how to build a career and how to go about it. There are lots of YouTube channels, but go for the ones which talks about network security or application security, OPSEC, OSINT. For OSINT, there is a separate list of resources. For OPSEC, operational security, there is a separate list. So make sure that based on your interest, you pick up some resources. There are lots of, you can follow some Twitter handles related to the area of your interest. You can follow some known blogs of big cybersecurity experts who are into this industry since 2 decades, 3 decades, and they write a lot about their area of field, So you can learn from these resources online, and it is all available free. You don't have to pay for it, So just follow the interested path and the Twitter feeds, or in fact, you can join some YouTube channels. You can subscribe to them and learn about various tools and all being used by cybersecurity analysts and researchers. Okay, so that's how you start building your skills. Then the first thing is the education. Actually, there is nothing called direct jumping to cybersecurity career. You have to follow some steps, and you cannot skip any of these steps. So first thing is starting with the education, training, or self-learning. Self-learning plays very important role in cybersecurity. You cannot learn cybersecurity by just learning the books or attending the lectures. It is impossible. So you have to start doing hands-on. So lots of tutorials are available. You can start, if you have a laptop, you can start installing those tools and try applying your knowledge. So education plays very important role. Do some small projects like password authentication, or some small Python related script related to security program. Do some projects and highlight those projects as part of your profile. With the programming and the scripting that you have learned, you can develop many small applications which will be considered as your project. Then the third step is, like, if you really want to become a penetration tester or ethical hacker, then there are lots of bug bounty platforms which you can subscribe to, and they give you some application to hack. And if you are able to do it, then you can earn some money, so these are bounties are very good a platform to try your hands-on. Then go for the certification. Don't jump to the certification immediately until you do these 3 steps, because certification is little costly. And if you go for global certification, they are like $700 or $1,000, which is a big amount, for a student. So you can go for certification only after you have minimum 1 year of experience. So they are also very tough, because thousands of people worldwide they take it. So every year it is becoming tough to get the certifications. And networking also plays a very important role. So you can join the communities, cybersecurity experts or analyst communities which are available in India as well as abroad. And the real life experience in cybersecurity you will get only by doing internship in cybersecurity companies. Okay, companies or startups who have cybersecurity products or who help companies to secure, right? So if you do internship in this security startups or companies, it will give you tremendous knowledge and experience, and that will be a stepping stone to join a good role in big MNC, or as a security analyst or security engineer. So these are the stepping stones to build a career in cybersecurity. So as I told you, scripting is very important. If you can't code, you will always dependent on someone who can. So learn to code. And I can also see a question on the screen: Python language is sufficient, or any other cybersecurity? So any scripting language you can pick up. If you want to become a web security expert, then you can go for JavaScripting or Go language. Or if you just want to automate something, or if you want to do data analysis or machine learning, then you can learn Python. But understand the basics of programming. That is the need. Okay, so if you most of the web application, if you right click and visit that web page, view source, you should be able to understand what are the basic syntax of that code, right? So basics of programming is a must. Okay, so it can be anything: Python, Java, C programming. So, but you should pick up one and learn to code. Make sure that your project is in that language, so that you will achieve some expertise, hands-on knowledge in that area, in that programming language. Okay, so that's how it is. And even though you are a mechanical engineer or electrical engineer, and if you don't need to be a programmer actually, but you should know the basics of programming, or basics of coding. Or if you look at the JavaScript or web page source code, you should able to find out what is this stack for, or what is this logic. Understand the logical flow of the program. That's it. So, but if you really want to become a security engineer and build a software related to security product, then it's important that you have a very good grasp on programming. Okay, so I mean, it all depends on you, your interest, and where you want to go, or which career path you want to choose. Then, as I told you, projects plays very important role in the career of students like you. So make sure that you have your projects and setup ready with you. So if you are really serious about penetration testing, or hacking, or building some tools, you have to install. You can install Kali Linux or Parrot or any virtual machine setup on your laptop. And Kali Linux comes with lots of tools inbuilt. So you can try those tools. Try execution of those tools, and then slowly you can build your own scripts using Python or Go language or anything else, which will be useful for other people. There are lots of free resources available, as well as tools available in for cybersecurity in GitHub. These are all open source. So first you start learning those open source tools, and then you start contributing to those open source. Like first thing is consumption, and then the second thing is contribution. Because when you contribute, you add lots of value to your experience as well as to the community, right? InfoSec community. So use open source security tools. There are plenty of them, free of cost, and that is a good way for you to learn them. Then you can set up your own GitHub account, start putting your own scripts. Then you can set up your own WordPress website or blog about your learning, or about your knowledge in this area, which will help you to build a profile. Because cybersecurity, as I told you, it's not a conventional career where if you have 5 years or 10 years of experience in programming, you can become manager. It's not like that. There are people who have been penetration testers since last 10 years. So and again, the field is totally merit based. So if you have a good skills in hacking, then you will get good compensation, or you will become a senior person who can mentor the others and manage the teams. So your projects plays very important role. They show that you have actually a knowledge and you are applying it. So just writing a paper or giving a seminar or theoretical knowledge is not sufficient in cybersecurity. Okay, so the application of that knowledge is very important. Okay. So, right. Yes. The next thing is like how, if you, I mean, most of the students nowadays, in the registration form also, many people ask this question, how to build a career as a hacker or penetration tester, right? So that's why I added this slide. So if you want to become a penetration tester, then you can practice with bounties. So once you have your Kali Linux setup, you have plenty of open source tools already. They will tell you how to hack a website or how to hack a Android application. Then you can go for bug bounty programs. These are all open source platforms which you can register, try the vulnerability assessment tools, and then start with penetration testing. So some of the bug bounty platforms are Bugcrowd, HackerOne, then openbugbounty.org. Hack the Box is very good for most of the beginners who wants to try their hands-on in penetration testing. So Hack the Box is kind of a, they will give you some platform to try your hands-on in hacking. So it's a very good way to learn, because being a rookie penetration tester, you cannot keep on hacking whichever website you see. You cannot hack any government website, because if those people come to know that this hacking attempt has come from this IP address, you will be arrested as you will be considered as a cyber criminal. So you cannot hack anything which is there available on internet, because it will be considered as a hacking attempt, and it is punishable offense as per the IT Act. So it's important that you use this Hack the Box kind of platforms to try your hacking skills. Okay, so most of the students, they do this mistake. They try to hack whichever thing available, So go for the platforms where they have a vulnerability disclosure program, or public disclosure programs available in their platform, like Facebook, Google. They have this bug bounty programs. You can go to their website and check. So if you find any bug in Facebook, then you can report to Facebook. It's called responsible disclosure. They have a responsible disclosure policy. So if you really think that you can hack Facebook, then report it to Facebook, and they will pay you some thousands of dollars as a bounty. So that will also encourage you, but don't try to hack any local government website or your university website or any college website, because if you are caught, then you will be arrested. All right. So use these platforms for bug bounty and earning money. They will also pay you if you are really good hacker. Okay. So there are lots of IT acts. Cybersecurity Act of India is very, very strong. And any hacking attempt, if you try to hack your friends' Facebook and all those things, or if nowadays, if there is any OTP fraud or anything else, right? If there is a cybercrime complaint forum, which is hosted by Indian government. So if someone posts complaint against you, by there is a hacking attempt, and the local cybercrime department, they can trace your IP, they can reach out to your address through your ISP, and you can be a cyber criminal kind of thing. So IT Act of India is very, very strong. So don't do anything which is not allowed by the act, or not hacking attempt. Don't attempt anything like, don't hack any government website or any company website, because they have the security people who are monitoring the traffic, the frontline defenders, right? So the CISO's job is to make sure that there is no hacking attempts against the company's infrastructure. But if they find anyone trying to attack their system, they can go and they can file a complaint, FIR, against the person or the IP address or an anonymous hacker, and it can be you if you are trying to do that. No? So the IT, I mean, even the VPNs are not safe, There was a question, VPN use kar sakte hai, but not all VPNs comes under the purview of government. There are very, very few. Most of the VPNs, they have to share the logs with the government if government asks them. Okay, so don't think that just because you are VPN, people will not be able to trace you and all. As per if you go for the free VPNs, the VPN companies are also they are also basically government has a control over them. They have to share the logs with the government if the department asks for it. MIT or information technology department asks for the logs. So nothing in the internet is anonymous. Okay, so you can be tracked. There in the last month there were lots of dark web criminals were also tracked by the police. So even though you use Tor, even though you use Tor, what is it? There are law enforcement agencies. They are also using Tor. They are also in the dark web and looking for criminals, right? So there is a chance that sometimes you may not be caught. Maybe your local area police may not be able to track you, but the security agencies of India, they are quite advanced when it comes to the technology. And if it is a big cybercrime against the nation or big hack against a big company like Air India or or any of army or government agency, it can be tracked. It doesn't matter whether you are using VPN or Tor or whether you are in dark web. It will be caught. It will take some time, but nothing goes anonymous in the internet. Okay, so that's about the hacking attempts. So start with hack the box or bug bounties. Then lots of you guys had asked about the certifications, right? So certification, I'm going to tell you that don't go for any local certification or certification given by a local training company. Okay, so for example, there are lots of institutes which tells, okay, we will Udemy or like online programs which say that we will give you a certificate, but those may not be recognized. Only go for the global recognized certificates like the ones which I have listed in my presentation. So CompTIA is one, which for the beginner, you can start with Security Plus or Network Plus certification. Certified Ethical Hacking is another certification, which is good for beginners. And then if you want to build a career in penetration testing, then go for OSCP. Then forensic for computer hacking and forensic investor, there is a CHFI. So all these certificates you can do after doing your master's also, or if you want to do, you can go for the first two as a beginner. And after you have some years of experience, then go for the remaining ones. CISSP, actually you need minimum 5 years of experience in cybersecurity, and it's you cannot do it directly as a fresher. So it requires the prerequisite for attending CISSP or CISA or CISM is you should have some years of experience. But the first two can be done by anyone. Even though you are not a college graduate, you can still go for these two. Okay. So go with the reputed institute, lots of local trainers, lots of training companies providing cybersecurity courses. You can attend them because they are cheap, but the certificate provided by them may not be recognized. Okay. So go for only reputed InfoSec Institute, EC Council, IS Square or ISACA and SAMS. These are the global reputed institutes which provides these certificates. Okay, so go only for the global reputed institutes. Udemy courses are good for you to have the basic fundamentals, but those certificates may not be recognized. But as a student, you can start with them because they are cheap. At least you will understand how to use Kali Linux or how to use some tools using Udemy courses. Okay, so you can go for them for 500 rupees or 800 rupees. You will know the basics, but lots of you can go for CH only you have hands-on experience. Once you know, once you build your own lab, try some bug bounties, then only go for CH. Okay, Udemy courses are great for a beginner, but as I told you, if you really want to join some big MNCs, they may not say hundreds of Udemy courses that you have done. They will not recognize them. They will recognize only certificate from global institutes. For offensive security, you can go for OSCP certificate. Okay, and offensive security is another company. Yeah, they also have some certificate, but EC Council is highly reputable, so you can go for EC Council certificates. which are recognized a lot. I mean, because there is a high demand for this career, so there are lots of security companies giving lots of certificate courses and all. Don't go for everything, go for only one or two. But important thing is certificate is doesn't define you. Your skills define you, you know. So your hands-on experience, your hacking skills, those are important, and not the certificate. So I mean, there are lots of fake companies giving fake certificates also. So don't fall for them. Even though using those certificates, you will get a job, but you will not be able to sustain in that job, because the field is very demanding, you know. So your individual skills and your hands-on experience only matters. Okay, so don't fall for certification. And even though you have 10 security certificates, but if you don't have a proper skills, then it will be of no use, you know. As I told you, cybersecurity is a merit-based sector. So your employer or your boss will anyway come to know about your cybersecurity skills, on the job skills, in spite of having hundreds of certificates. So it doesn't really matter. Okay. So that's about the certificates. I will also share some links about, you know, how to go for the beginner certificate after this session in the classroom. So let's, I mean, the important thing is, if you are really interested in cybersecurity, make sure that you attend the relevant conferences. And lots of things are happening virtually now, you know, virtual security conferences. So for the students, they have free passes. So you attend those relevant conferences. You can set a Google alert for security news and conferences, and you will get email notifications. So whenever there is something happening, you can register yourself. Join the InfoSec community meetups and local chapter meets. So there are like OWASP. If you are interested in web application security, you can join OWASP chapters. There is a B-side. Nullcon is another good community. And I think Nullcon has chapter in Pune, Mumbai, as well as other cities in India. So if you are a girl, you want to make a career in InfoSec, you can join InfoSec Girls community. So these are lots of communities where the experts come together and give free sessions to the beginners like you, you know, or students like you. So you can join these communities and attend those sessions. Most of them, they have their YouTube channels also. So you can search for their YouTube channels, go through the sessions. These are all expert sessions happening almost every month, every week. So lots of knowledge is there available on internet. All you have to do, make sure that you know which sector and which area of cybersecurity you want to build your career, and join the respective one. Because as I told you, there are too many things. Sometimes you get overwhelmed because of the choices available. And it's important that you stick to one sector or one area and become a master of that. You know, so it's important that you follow the respective communities only. Then writing papers is also very good as a student, right? You will get a good recognition. If you really want to become a master or take up any master's course or in cybersecurity, then that paper will really help you to stand out of the crowd. So any cybersecurity, cryptography or cybersecurity or privacy papers, you start responding to the call for papers. Even though it is IIT or big or even in foreign university, don't hesitate to participate. I mean, once you start writing, your first paper will get rejected, second paper will get rejected, but third paper you will become good at it and it might get accepted, you know. So if you are really interested in that particular area, then just start expressing your knowledge or, you know, participating in CFPs. And internships, you know, so make sure that towards the end of your final year, at least you have one internship in at least one cybersecurity startup or company. You know, so internship plays very, very important role in building the foundation of your career, right? So that's about it. I just wanted to tell you guys that, you know, to become an expert in cybersecurity, you need to have the security mindset. Okay, so the mindset comes only when you start to find a problem, or, you know, okay, I'm using a banking app. What can go wrong with it? You know, how my data can go in the wrong hands of the criminals. You know, if you start thinking it, then only the security aspect of that mindset will be built. You know, so think about everything, whichever technology that you are using or website you are using, how secure it is. If you are using an Android phone, how secure it is. If you start thinking that security, automatically you can build the mindset, and then it will become easy for you to defend or protect that piece of technology, you know. So a journey towards better cybersecurity career is, it depends on your passion about cybersecurity and your mindset. Okay. So, I mean, mindset plays very important role. I just wanted to give an example. If you know which country in the world is good in cybersecurity, do you know which country has lots of cybersecurity startups as well as products, and they help worldwide companies to secure them? It's a very small country. Yeah, Sanskar just told that Japan. No, Japan is not the one. It is Israel. Okay, so Israel has lots of security technology. The reason behind it, they are always defending themselves, you know. So they, if you look at the Israel citizens, most of them have served in military. They are all the time looking for what can go wrong, you know. So that's the reason they are very good at cybersecurity engineering and designing the different products which will help them secure the technology. Okay, so they have a cyber army, you know, in their country. So similarly, most of the countries, they have their own cyber armies. I think India also has one team of people who work with the government, and those are all cybersecurity experts. So whenever you think that, you know, that something can go wrong or everything can be hacked, automatically you can, you know, build the cybersecurity defender's mindset. So I just want you to guys think about this. If you want to really build a career in cybersecurity, have that mindset with you. Okay, so that's the closing note from my side. Now we are open for questions.
Yes.
Any questions?
Yes. Actually, there is a. Actually, my question is that how can that on a dark web, how the personal data is uploaded? That was I have asked.
Oh, you had asked. Okay, I
Yes,
missed that question. Yeah. So what happens is most of these web platforms or applications, right, which collect the personal data. So these companies who are building these applications have not safeguarded that data very carefully. You know, they have some security vulnerabilities in their platform, which it can be misconfiguration or business logic flaw or anything. So the hackers basically, they steal that data. Let's say there is a web application which stores the data in Amazon or AWS, you know. So in AWS, the data is not stored properly. So a hacker can steal that data and download that data and upload it in the dark web for sale. You know,
okay.
it can, you know, and then as you know, dark web is a den of cyber criminals, right? All the illegal things happens there. So
Right.
first thing, stealing the data is a crime. Okay, and uploading it for sale, making money out of it in the dark web is another crime, you know. So most of these criminal gangs which are underground working anonymously, you know, they do this kind of work. They steal the data because the companies have not applied proper cybersecurity controls. It is easy for anyone to hack those companies' data or steal that data and put it in dark web. And most of these are either available free or for sale. So again, it depends what is the value of that data. Like you know, on an average, one personal data record, including credit card or physical address, date of birth, and all, is on an average the cost of that personal one record is $5.
Oh.
Okay, so if you have like millions of people's data, then you can the criminals make money. So some criminals, they also ask for ransom from the companies. Like they might ask for ransom from Air India. But if Air India fails to pay the ransom amount, then they will sell it in the dark web to the hackers. And then the other hackers, they will use that data to commit the phishing attack or to do any other identity and access management attack against the individuals whose data is disclosed. Okay. So, I mean, it's a very, very complex network of, there are lots of people at every layer, criminal layers, you know, and there are people who are hackers who steal the data. There are people who, there is a marketplace where they sell the data, make money out of it. Then there are people who buy that data and commit the cyber attacks, you know, so it's like a web of criminals, we can say, you know.
Yes, yes. Thank you,
So,
ma'am.
yeah, right.
And when the thing is coming like security, so
Mhm.
we are as a student and as a learner,
Mhm.
um, so I'm very curious or um, caretaker, if my data is stolen, then there are some antiviruses, so which antivirus I should go, so that the question is rising in my mind.
Right,
So
right.
yes.
Yeah, this is a very common thing actually, sir,
Yes,
and
yes,
it's
yes.
important that everybody of us is aware of that.
Yes,
We are
yes.
we are going to have, as part of I think IT department's cybersecurity series, we are going to have a cyber awareness session, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that we will cover, but I just wanted to give you a brief. So I mean, you may not know, but your data is already on the sale or in the hands of hackers, you know.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So every one of us is actually should be aware that and understand that our data is not safe. Okay, so what are the basic thing you can do is keep changing your passwords frequently. Like I know that my Air India, I was a flyer last year. In
Yeah.
2019 I had. So I know that my passport details anyway there I can't safeguard, but I can actually do one thing is I can set the new password to my account. You know,
Right.
if my email ID is stolen, then I can change my password. That is one thing. Second thing I can do is I can set some alerts. You know, there is a site called Have I Been Pawned? So where I can go and check what is the exposure of my email ID and where all it was, disclosed.
Right.
And wherever it was disclosed, I make sure that I don't reuse the password across all my social media accounts, company accounts, bank accounts. Use different passwords, and I keep changing them whenever there is any disclosure. Okay, so this is the first thing. Then second thing is, if I'm using an Android phone, I make sure that it is all the time updated. All the applications are auto updated in it, and don't install anything which is unwanted. Okay,
Right.
so because these applications keep collecting your personal data, so if you want some application, install it once it is. Let's say you want to book some ticket and you install some Book My Trip or some other app. You install it, book your tickets. Once your journey is over, uninstall that application. So don't keep any uninstalled programs. Don't keep any unwanted or unused programs on your devices. It can be your laptop, it can be your phone, and make sure that your operating system and applications are all the time updated. Because
Okay.
if your device has some vulnerable application running, and it's connected to internet, any hacker can exploit that vulnerability and can take over your machine,
Right.
or device. So make sure that updates are all the time installed and passwords are strong enough.
Yes.
So these are the two basic practices we can do, but I think we will cover more in the cybersecurity awareness session.
Yes. Yes.
And it's important to have minimum security program installed on your phone as well as your laptop. Antivirus, there are lots of antivirus, McAfee. Then you have lots of Indian companies also, right? Like McAfee, Sophos. You can install any one of them. At least one of them has to be there on your device, and it should be all the time running.
Right. Right. Okay. Ma'am, there is one question. Compare the package of machine learning AI. If we have time, because we are running out of the times. So just
Yeah, actually for machine learning, there is a separate webinar being planned, right? So we will cover in that. Actually in cybersecurity engineering, when you are doing a product development or, infrastructure security, machine learning and AI plays very important roles, but it is still evolving. So if you really want to build your career in cybersecurity engineering, then your knowledge in machine learning and AI will be helpful. Okay, so you can, but I will wait for that next cybersecurity webinar or new machine learning webinar, which is in the pipeline, to answer that.
right. Right. Okay. Ma'am, one more question. Last question.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yeah.
Yes, Rajni.
Can I ask?
Yes.
Ma'am, whenever there is a news or any related article about hacking and all this thing, there is a mention about bot. They have used XYZ bot to breach the system. So I have asked what that bot is really.
Yeah, so botnet, we also call it as botnet, bots, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
those are automated programs, command and control centers, where there will be one cyber criminal or hacker who is controlling a server, and using that this can be small scripts or programs, you know, like when you visit those websites, they get downloaded on your machines. And if there are millions of users using that particular website, all these bots gets downloaded, and then they can basically take over your machines, you know. So these are botnets, and botnet attacks are very, very common nowadays. And also I don't know whether you know this, but most of the government websites are victims of botnet attacks. Okay, so that's the reason if you go to cert.in page, cert.in website, they have a botnet removal tool. So if you run that botnet removal on your PC or on your phone, if you have unintentionally downloaded some bot script on your device, it will be removed. Okay, so most of the time, I mean, botnets are nothing but a piece of programs which are running, malicious programs which are running on your device. And how to prevent it is, if you have an antivirus or anti-malware tool installed, it will automatically block those. But if you have not installed it, then you can go to cert.in page and install that botnet removal and remove the bots. Okay, so when the cyber criminals want to have a very large scale attack happening, then they use the bots. You know, they want to commit a large scale attack against millions of users. They use the botnets. Yeah, I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
There is one question which talks about which version of Raspberry Pi should we start. So whether it is Raspberry Pi, any device, or any phone or any software, always go for the latest one. Okay, so the latest one comes with better features and better security. So you can go for Raspberry Pi. I don't know which is the latest. I have 3.0 as of now. So you can go for whichever is latest. And Raspberry Pi is a very good way to understand IoT security. You know, you can have some small program running on it, small projects based on Raspberry Pi. If you go to GitHub, you will see lots of Raspberry Pi security projects, you know, and it's a good way to start IoT security. Okay, so my answer to you is go for the latest one.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is one question, attack in live site. I will post this method on my blog and Instagram. Is it okay or not? So if that attack on live site, if that site has a public disclosure policy, then you have to report it to the owner of that website and not in the public, Twitter and all. Okay, so there is something called responsible disclosure policy. If you just post it publicly without understanding that responsible disclosure policy, you will be this company might file a FIR against you. You know, so any public disclosure, if it is not taken, not done responsibly, you can be labeled as hacker, and FIR can be lodged against you. So it's important that you follow the responsible disclosure policy. So if you find anything wrong, you try to report to the owner of that site, okay? And don't report it publicly to anyone. Because if that company finds out that you have reported, they can file a complaint against you. All right, so make sure that first you report to the owner. If that product owner or website owner doesn't respond to you after 3 attempts, after 3 months, then you can report on the Twitter. So if you follow some Twitter handles, right, you will see lots of cybersecurity researchers. So they do that. They first report to the companies. If those companies doesn't take any action, then only after 3 months or after repeated attempts, then only they report on Twitter. Okay. And you have to, whenever you are reporting it, you have to tag those companies. But it's highly I mean, if you really want to build a career in cybersecurity, be responsible. Integrity and ethics plays very important role in cybersecurity career. So go to the proper channels and don't go for cheap publicity. So don't post anything bad about any company on the social media, because once you post it, you become a hacker. You will be labeled as that.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope I have answered that question.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Actually, there is one question. Just last question, ma'am. Okay.
Yes.
So someone is asking, like, if we are a beginner, then which channel, YouTube channels, or some list of channels can you provide us? There is one question.
Yeah, I'm not a big YouTuber fan, but I mean, I will find out and post it in the classroom for your reference.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll share you the list of GitHubs that you should follow, list of Twitter or blogs that you should follow. And if again, it depends. If you want to follow Nullcon, if you want to build a career in application security, then OWASP has their own channel you can follow. If you want to build a career in infrastructure security, then OPSEC. I'll find out and share it with you. I don't have the list right now. Okay.
Yes. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ekta ma'am, hello.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Question and answer. Actually, the questions are over. So right now,
Okay.
over to ma'am, Ekta ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a fruitful session. Now, on behalf of Department of Information Technology, I extend really a hearty vote of thanks to our speaker, Mrs. Nanda Chaugule, ma'am, who has given us her precious time from her busy schedule. I am sure that this webinar is definitely going to add the values in your professional as well as your day-to-day life. So thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to thank our HOD, Dr. S.R. Sutar, sir, because of his consistent support. We could successfully conduct this webinar. For that, I'd like to I would also like to thank Professor Dr. S.M. Jadhav, sir, for his valuable guidance and efforts to conduct this webinar session successfully. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the DBARTU alumni for conducting this sessions. I'm thankful to all the faculty members and students for participating in this webinar session. Soon we'll let you know the next session of this webinar series. Till then, stay safe, take care. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, all the students.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was nice talking to you guys, and we'll keep the classroom session forum live, so if you have any queries after this session also, you can keep posting it over there. And stay safe and secure. Thank you so much. Bye.